Hi guys, it's Kristi. I'm back. I didn't get as much coffee dyeing finished as I would have liked, but I wanted to show you what happened with those plastic tablecloths that I had gotten. I don't know if you can see, if I lift up, it's very detailed. Now, this is the top layer of the stack. What I usually do is I'll sit at my kitchen table and I've made up a 3-to-1 instant coffee batch. Whatever it says on the how to mix it up on the jar, I do it 3 times stronger. So I use a paintbrush and I brush it on and then I move it over, and then I put the plastic tablecloth on top, and then I put another layer of paper. Well, this one was the top when I put it outside to dry, so the sun actually makes it turn like a darker color. What I found though, yesterday especially, it was 98 degrees. I figured it would dry. I was gone for about 6 hours, came back, and only the top 3 pages were dry. So I took those off, moved them over, left it another hour, went outside, took those couple pages off, etc. And then last night when I brought them in, they were still damp, so I just flipped them all over spread them out all over my kitchen table and let them dry. But the ones that have direct access to the sun do turn a dark brown. I was really happy with the way this came out. The only problem is that it's crispy and it has a tendency to break, and that's the main reason why I don't cook them in the oven. And around the edges, because I had stacked them so nice and neatly, they stuck together on the edges. So I need to perhaps not be as neat and tidy and kind of do a messy batch like I did before. But like I said, I didn't get as much done as I wanted. I got about 50 pages done, but that'll get me by for now, and I'll do another batch later. But this was the top one, and yeah, even on the back side you can see that the image went through. Now I found, this is some of my in-between layers, they still give somewhat of an impression. This is a layer that was down maybe 2 or 3 pieces. I found that if you only put 1 layer of paper in between, that you get almost a moving image. These are just the blanks that were in, because I started putting 2 to 3 layers in between the crochet part of it. So these are pretty much blank, which is fine. I don't want them all to be detailed, but you can see this one has barely a pineapple image on there, just enough to give it texture, which is good. So these are plain. I'm looking for one in particular that had that was at the bottom of the stack, and it almost gave like a how do I describe it? Here it is. Like when you have done it's like a double triple image. This is the one that was in between when I was doing just 1 page in between the plastic. So you can see the image from the bottom one, you can see the image from the top one, and it almost looks like when there's a what do you call it? Eclipse outside. That's how everything looks in the shadows. It's kind of cool, and it's kind of moving, and yeah, I like it. But I don't want them all to look that way. And some of the pieces that were just kind of like the middle, that were linen, there's a little bit of pattern. It didn't leave an awful lot. There were some pieces that had like little flowers, almost like flowered embroidery, that didn't come out. They weren't thick enough in the plastic, but you can see some of the grid here. Yeah, it's okay, and I like it. And I don't want them all to be the same anyway. Oh, here's one where that middle piece kind of took better. But there again, I think this is one where I had taken the top layer off and let this see the sun a little bit. So it got a little bit darker. There's some More blanks. This one looks really grungy. More of that grid. So, yeah. You know, you never know what you're going to get with the coffee dyeing. It turns out different every time. So, yeah, there's one more kind of in between. But it didn't turn out exactly like I wanted, but it works, and I'll do it a little bit differently next time, and I'll get a different result. So it's all good. So today I wanted to show you the coffee dye paper, and then I need to reinforce my cover here. This is a Reader's Digest condensed book, and yeah, this is 1999. They're a lot smaller than they used to be. They're I think I measured the pages that I'm putting in are 7 1/4. So this piece of paper was 7 1/4 by 5, which is also the size of the signatures that I'm going to make. Well, 7 1/4 by 10, but I need to reinforce this because this spine is really soft, so I don't want it to be quite that soft. So I want to glue in a piece of chipboard, and I've cut this chipboard 1.5 inches by, it does have a score line in it, but that's fine, 1.5 inches by 7 1/4. This is going to be a 2-signature journal, so I'm just going to put a line down the middle. That way I don't necessarily have to tackle the glue, because that can be quite tricky. And I'm just going to lay this inside here to give it some stability. Nothing too difficult. I'm lining that up with these pieces. It's a little tiny bit shorter. I used a different cutter for this. I don't use my good cutter for a chipboard. I use my old Fiskars, this one that I've had for 20 years. This is what I cut chipboard with, and your blade will be dull. So I just keep that, and that's what I use it for. Cutting my chipboard. I can't get back in there. Because I can't cut all the way through the chipboard anyway. So what I usually end up doing is putting it on there and cutting one side, flipping it over, cut the other side, and then it'll be fine. The blade's not quite deep enough to go through this chipboard. So I want to make sure that's pretty even there. I can feel it sticking a little bit. Yeah, that looks good. Okay. Now I've got this. I found at Goodwill, and you know, you never know what you're going to find at Goodwill. This was a linen tablecloth, and this tore fabulously. I've torn it into 4-inch, and I think these are about 2.5-inch strips, and I took all the lace off around. I should show you. I've got 2 big pieces of fabric, and you can see this is a lot of fabric. This was a huge tablecloth, so I didn't want to strip it all because I don't know what I'm going to do with it. I've got 3 strips like this. There's another one around here somewhere. Oh, here we go. That are 2.5 by the length of whatever the tablecloth, and I want to say it was at least 72 inches. And then I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 that are 4.5 width, and the lace, a ton of lace. This was the lace that was around the outside. So this is probably what I'm going to use for the spine, because it's the right, I just like it. It's really cool. It's not a symmetrical design, but I think that's okay. But look at all this lace I got off that one tablecloth. That's going to last me for a good while. And I paid, well, let's put it, wait. It was, yeah, $3.59 for this tablecloth. It was easily, if I had bought it at a discount store, a $40 tablecloth. But probably more because this is good linen. So anyway, I want to glue this here. And what I want to do is, I'm going to start at the bottom here. And I'm kind of going to go in this little crack, also known as the bend or whatever. This had a lot of glue on it, so it was really hard to clean up. Well, not hard, but I got as close to the edge as I could when I trimmed it. So I just want to do that. And I'm going to put this piece here. I like to start at the bottom. Oh, well, I guess I should glue on the sides too here, because this is going to go here. I like to start on the bottom and then do the front side. And the glue does show through, but hopefully, let's see, I did this one already, and you can see the glue through, but I'm going to cover this with lace. So okay, now I'm going to flip this over, making sure that's pretty much centered. And I'm going to go into this crevice. Nothing's coming out. I'm hoping when that glue dries that it clears up a little bit, but like I said, I'm going to cover it with lace, so it shouldn't matter. Is there glue coming out? Yeah, okay. Okay, so I'm going to go across here, down the middle, and I need to go a little bit over here a little bit. Now, I didn't make this up. I learned how to do this from Gail Agostinelli on her YouTube page. She has one, Reinforcing Spines, and I will link that below if you want to see that. There we go. Just kind of spreading that out a little bit. Alright, so I'm going to pull that down, keeping it centered, hopefully, for the most part. I'm going to use my bone folder to get in here. Just to make sure that's made good contact. Like I said, it's going to be two signatures, so I want to sew on the side of this glue line here. Alright, and I'm going to flip it back over. Get the glue off my hands, and you can see I'm not exactly centered the way I thought I was. Let's try that. I should have checked that before yeah, I think that's close enough. Go back in here. There we go. I just think this linen will go well with this kit. So I'm going to come across here. Down here. I used quite a bit of glue. That might be why it's showing through. But I want to make sure that it stays where I put it. And then I'm just going to go here. And here. Sorry, kind of mumbling to myself. And I think that overlaps about a half an inch, so I'll cover that up. Okay, so we'll pull that down. Get that in the creases. That was the word I was looking for. Okay. And I can always come back and add a little bit more glue to the areas that lift. But mainly I just want to reinforce it, and then I'll come back and this one, for instance, yeah, it's still a little wet. That's why it's still showing. But this isn't showing as much because I probably used a thinner layer here, so it's mostly dried, but I think that'll be nice for the cover. And then with that lace, I'll go over this edge a little bit, and that's pretty much all I'm going to do for the cover. I will probably put a nameplate down here, but yeah, I'm not going to add anything to the cover because I really like, now I say that, but I reserve the right to change my mind. But I like the blue, solid blue covers, so we'll see what happens. But anyway, so I want to do a couple more, well, more than a couple ephemera pieces for this journal. I've got to get my pages put together with the coffee dyed paper, and I want to put some dictionary page and some other things, journal pages, ledger pages, doilies, etc. So I'm going to get my signatures together, and then I will be back with some ephemera. And thanks for watching. I'll talk to you soon.